In the world of the New York Giants, even when you find a way to win, you kind of lose. Drew Lock leading the way, 309 passing yards, 5 total touchdowns. The Giants scoring their most points in a game since 2015 because tank is for gas and we run on our own.
You would rather your team go out there and fight for every inch than lay down and just take an ass whooping. And, yeah, you get your pick that you want, but what is that player who they want coming into?
We're obviously not taking it. At the end of the day, it's like anything, we have a job to do, And this isn't basketball, it's not golf, it's not tennis. Like, football, you get hit. So I'm not going to go out there and just let people tee off on me just to tank. Basketball, you can say, okay, I can miss shots, whatever, it's cute, it's fun. But I'm not about to let people dive in my knees for free.
I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again till I'm blue in the face. You cannot convince professional football players to lose professional football games. Not the serious ones, at least. The Giants come up with a win here on Sunday, their first one in quite some time. And with that, they drop from the top overall pick to number 4 in the draft order. The Patriots, currently on the clock. Back with the Mac as we assess all that we saw here in Week 17. And for the Giants, we've talked about it plenty already. This win is a big loss for the future of the franchise. They dropped down to number 4 in the draft order. We've mulled over it all in the green room with some Giants fans. Is there a world where they walk away from this draft without a franchise quarterback in their eyes?
I don't think so. I think they understand and know how important it is to get a potential franchise quarterback in the draft, and currently being at the 4th spot in the NFL draft. If the draft were to start tomorrow, you still could potentially trade up. When you look at the draft and the nature of the draft, the New England Patriots clearly, who holds the number 1 spot currently, they don't need a quarterback, right? So they could be a potential team that would like to move out of the number 1 spot to get more resources to a team that could utilize one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft. When you look at Cam Ward, when you look at Shedeur Sanders, those are the only 2 quarterbacks that I see right now, as of today, that are worthy of being a top selection or a top 4 or top 3 selected player at the quarterback position. So knowing how much of a need that is for the New York Giants, they got to find a way to maneuver and go get that ideal quarterback that they view is the quarterback of the future for their franchise.
And a tough Saturday for both of those names. Cam Ward plays the first half, apparently chasing a record there for Miami, then sits himself down. Shedeur Sanders struggles in a loss in his bowl game, his finale with the Buffs. Not to suggest that they haven't put together nice work samples moving forward, but you're no longer in a position, and it's going to cost some capital to get up the board. New York holding those chips, New England holding those chips with a 1st overall pick. They can move out of it because they feel like they do have their quarterback of the future in Drake May. A lot of positivity around the quarterback. They could shop that pick. They could get all that comes with it, in excess of $176 million in projected cap space next season. How big of an offseason is this for New England? Because Chicago has shown us that just because you got the money and you got the picks,
oh my goodness,
doesn't mean that it's all going to come together at once.
This is a huge offseason for the New England Patriots, and here's why. You have an opportunity to change the trajectory of your program based on the resources that you have in terms of the draft right now having the number 1 spot, and then the financial resources as well, in which Joe just gave us the info on. So when you talk about having money to play with, you can go spend that money and spend it wisely with vets that can come in and change the course of your program.
What is wisely, and where does that money go for New England? What are the first things to address in your eyes?
Pass catcher. This is an offense that lacks playmakers. So go get a pass catcher. Go get offensive lineman that could protect your young quarterback. Because if you look at young quarterbacks in the National Football League, the best way for them to be able to flourish and develop early in their professional career is having an offensive line that can protect them and having a reliable pass catcher or catchers that they can rely on. Look at Jayden Daniels. Look at why he's been so successful, right? The offensive line, a highly criticized group a year ago, they have done a great job in protecting him in the pocket. So that is the key in terms of getting the best out of Drake May, being able to see him develop and flourish before your eyes, improving the offensive line, and go get him some playmakers that he can get the football to.
It's the age-old strategy of quarterback, tackle, try and put them together for 10+ years. We'll see if that's what New England does with the money and with the pick. We don't know if that will be their pick, but after Week 17, it certainly is. At 2, just sort of quietly, the Tennessee Titans sitting there saying, hey, we might need a quarterback.
Oh, and there's no might.
Will Levis, a shoulder took him out of the lineup, and then his play as well. Is it time to move on if you're sitting there at number 2 and one of those 2 QBs is sitting?
It is. Number one, when you look at the new regime there in terms of coaching, they inherited Will Levis. They did not draft Will Levis.
Yeah.
So they don't have any ties to him. And looking at Brian Callahan and how he's been animated with Will Levis on the sideline, it's safe to say he's a bit tired of some of the miscues and mishaps from Will Levis. Will Levis is no longer the starting quarterback for them. It's Mason Rudolph. Either guy clearly is not the ideal player to be the quarterback moving forward. So if you're Tennessee and if you were able to have this number 2 spot when the draft comes around in April of this upcoming year, you have to go address the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
You got to go get it because Will Levis is not the guy who you thought he could be, and Mason Rudolph is more so a backup than a day 1 starter for the entirety of the season.
It certainly feels that way, and when the opportunity knocks, you sort of have to answer. If you know you don't have what you need, and a 2nd overall pick is what you possess in your pocket, that's how it stands after Week 17. Everybody needs something, and at the top of that draft, things change following a Giants victory. Mac, thank you as always, but creativity is something we appreciate as well. This is creative. Ryan Wilson's latest mock draft, you can catch it at CBSSports.com.
At 2.
Ryan Wilson will be in studio Week 18 to look forward to the NFL draft. We're going to turn to him throughout draft season, but I got some questions here. If you're at 1 and you're the Pats, you shop, right?
Trade.
You shop that thing. Kelvin Banks, an offensive tackle, I guess that would be commitment to the quarterback that's already there. Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders going 3 and 4. Take it up with Ryan Wilson.